Hello and welcome back to Endless Legend 2, where the latest faction, the final faction to be revealed, these guys right here, these lizard boys, the Tahuks, quite possibly present the best science faction I've ever played in any 4X game. So with a pretty normally thrown together game here, except for a slightly tweaked difficulty, let me show you what the Tahuks can do. Here we are, both a scientific faction and a fantastic looking four-armed one at that, as well as a religious faction. And we have a variety of pretty interesting things to unlock once I get my unique building online. These benefits up here are pretty fascinating, particularly the one that turns an entire territory to glass. To start with though, frankly the game is pretty similar to any other 4X turn-based fantasy strategy game, or indeed any other game of Endless Legend, right? I'm walking around, I'm looking for anomalies, these great tiles, discoveries, generally exploring the map around me, to try and find somewhere to place my first city. We can of course muck around a little bit longer in this game than a normal one, as described up here in this long-winded tooltip. We can meander around and still get some rewards, this prepared settlement bonus. Or have a chat with our neighbors, maybe bribe them. You know what, I'll take the quest instead. Pretty easy one, destroy some bandits and get a sweet, sweet hammer for my trouble, and of course pacify this village. I think settling-wise, it's probably gotta be just up here, right? So I'll slap down my first city, and we'll get this science train rolling. And just in case you're unfamiliar here, city development in Endless Legend 2 essentially has 3 layers. There's these foundations, which are automatically built around the city center tile, and I can build them manually myself by spreading out using influence. And then on top of the foundations, we can build districts, like these science ones, which you're gonna see a lot of. We'll also unlock these improvements. These can be unlocked through the tech tree, and they generally improve the center tile. Speaking of labs and technology, at the moment, I'd like you to pay attention. We are making 9 science per turn. Let's see how much we can increase this by throughout the course of a game, maybe starting with one of our unique technologies, like celestial scrying for +2 science on the anomalies that I have around me. My early thoughts here show me that this territory has a bit of naturally existing science, the kind that I need. Ooh, and an impact crater. So, settling somewhere down and around here once I have 60 influence is going to be the next move, and in fact, it'll be the very next turn. So let me chuck this dude out the way. Here are some bandits to fight. Let's jump down here and place our second one. Hello, beautiful yields. There will do. And a quick chat to our village next door wants me to literally just build 1 keep, and they'll give me a ranged unit, and we'll pacify these villagers. That's great. Of course, we can keep an eye on our quests up the top here, so long as they're pinned throughout the game, something that's very important in a game of Endless Legend. As is, by the way, these deeds over on the right-hand side. There are some pretty sweet benefits here that we can keep basically forever if we're the first to reach certain things. First to clear 6 fortresses gets 10 extra damage per unit, for example. So good, and I've largely slept on these. And hey, speaking of quests, something else that is very, very fun about the Tahuks, and you'll know this if you saw my recent live stream, are these observatories. We can build them physically on the map by literally just running around with my units and trying to find a ridge, which is a hill. Well, a mountain, actually, is what the ridge is. Now, once I've built one of these bad boys, here it is, an observatory, I can then upgrade it with certain special resources, turning it into a library for extra approval, or turning it into a sacred flame. More on these missile-launching towers as we move through. Now, while this building here may be a little expensive, this district, this holy Oculum, it is very good. Not just for its +10 science, as you can see, but also it provides a discount for future labs, these generic science districts that I'm going to plop literally everywhere. And some other benefits, like unlocking those holy Oculum things, +10 science for each adjacent lab. Oh yeah, this is a crucial district. It does take a while to get it online, but it will be worth it. Just bear with me here, trust me, it's going to be worthwhile. Plopping down these observatories on ridges is very, very good. So far, of course, you'll notice that I've just popped 1 in each territory, the maximum I can do, and just my own territories. But the good news is, you can actually build them any old where. So as I continue to move around with my hero here, and only 1 extra unit with it, very risky, I'm on the lookout for basically any ridge, right? So this one down here, yet again, I'll be able to build another observatory before I've even claimed the territory. Not just providing vision, but also giving me a potential military outpost in future. Maybe to take down old Coral Boy over here. For now, we'll open with a non-aggression pact, though, I think. Let's keep things friendly to begin with, anyway. More exploring being done here, a little bit of science. Actually, a very nice tile here as well. Triple whammy. And, of course, the beauty of a fantasy 4X strategy game like Endless Legion 2 here is that we have heroes with profiles, with gear to equip, like this potion that's going to give me poison salts power, or blood of the old, very good, and some skills to unlock, like extra health or extra strength. Alright, we're now at turn 15, I've moved a population over onto Artisan, and used my special Tahuk festival to sacrifice a population in exchange for a bit of industry, and that's allowed me to really speed up the production here. Likewise, by using the buyout function, wham bam, thank you ma'am, there's my holy Oculum. A little bit of science, and my projects have been unlocked. Now, I'm going to skip through the words quite rudely, because I'm very excited about this. The one that I really want to get to, and want to use, in fact, actually is this one. Now, the way that these abilities work is they charge up using science. So you can see there, charging time, 0 out of 100 science, it's going to take me 3 turns. I spend my science to charge up these abilities. So let me get one of these charging up. Quickly check through everything else. Communal habitations, gutless bandits, build a keep, goodness gracious. There's a lot that I need to do. And you know what? Maybe we'll just skip ahead through the magic of editing after the fact, and I'll show you what this can do. Before we get to that though, it looks like I'm actually stumbling into the first Tidefall event. The Tidefall event comes in 2 waves. If you didn't see my last video or a live stream recently, I've been very much enjoying this game, but fundamentally you can track it down the bottom right of the screen. Currently, we are in the monsoon season, and you'll notice the whole map has changed. This will lead to a Tidefall event. These rising tides and stormy clouds will go away, and new tiles will be revealed. New land, new enemies, new resources too. Basically, that's how it works in a nutshell. Also, we have a council to appoint. These guys can be extraordinarily powerful. +5 dust income per each of those observatories. Food on galvanized population, a little complicated. Or maybe just straight up extra science per pop. This is a science game after all. So let's focus on that. Right, now, here on turn 18, we're actually only making 25 science per turn. What? It was like 100 last turn. What's going on? Something has very much throttled my scientific production. You know what it is? It's the monsoon. Observatories behave differently during a monsoon. Outside of monsoons, they generate a steady stream of science, but during, they actually generate food. So we can grow faster during this period. And if I made a few extra citizens, I can change this 3 turns per pop. It's not bad. What's better, though, is actually attaching a territory. Let's attach this claimed territory where I placed a camp earlier to our city, and our city is now 2 territories wide with all of these extra foundations to build upon. While I'm doing territory stuff here a couple turns later, it's probably worthwhile claiming this one as well. Fairly close to home, could be a new city, could be its own, I suppose. It's probably better to just attach it up to this eventually though. Even just here in the second era, the second year's worth of technology, I have some very good stuff. +1 science on tiles producing science, of course, a go-to. But with us, it's a little bit different. I can't show you currently because I can't use my glass power during a blinking monsoon season, but as soon as it's done, we'll get back to that. Aha, speaking of it being done, I believe this cutscene is going to show us the tides rolling out. You can see my neighbor is very close by, look. Coral Dude is literally showing up within my cutscene. That's how close together we are. And we might actually about to be merged by some land. Let's take a look. Let's skip through and see what's actually going to happen here as the clouds lift. The stormy... Okay. Okay. He's placed a camp there, right on my border. Oh dear. I'm too pious. An event decision has changed my political stance. You see, a part of this faction is actually about the trade-off between science or religion, leaning into one or the other. At the moment, I'm leaning a little bit too piously to use this ability, but these other ones are much cheaper. So for the time being, I might lean into this mistake, and then we'll come back to that science effect slightly later on. In the meantime, while I'm waiting... Oh, hold on. We have a fight down here to insta-resolve, insta-success. Great news. And a quest has popped out of it as well. I'll take some money. Thank you very much. Much needed, actually. Very much needed. Anyway, back to the task at hand. It's time to upgrade our observatories into Sacred Flames. It takes 5 turns and uses up 5 titanium. So I'm going to convert both of these to core ones into towers. Partly because it's my quest. Partly because they're awesome. Okay, turn 43, skipped ahead just a little bit here. Let's take a look at a couple of things. Firstly, my observatories are, by the way, basically just have this radius around them now, and I can strike people down, including including myself, just to keep my own dudes in line. Of course, I'm going to have to ask them to heal up now. Anyway, moving swiftly along from that, a couple of other things here. First up, I'm waiting on another faction-based event to change away from pious and towards scientific. In the meantime, though, if you're curious, these ones are, in a nutshell, all about population. Someone in a live stream recently said that reading through these abilities is like reading Greek. And, you know, and I get what you're putting down. Let's take this one here. I can use this on my city to gain 3 population. But they're not just any old population. You know, they're a little different. While I wait for these 3 cooled populations to show up, it's going to take 10 turns. And the cool population aren't really not that useful to me at all. While we are eternally shining, we get plus 15 dust on tiles with glass. So the obvious play here is to get the glass down first, and then come back for the pious play. Aha! And speaking of the devil and it shall appear, here's the next event that I rudely skipped through last time. And by just spamming click, I'd accidentally clicked pious. This is actually quite a good learning lesson here, though. You can go bold, you can go open, or you can go pious. Now, generally the middle of the road option, there'll be an option that'll just kind of give you everything, right? So in this case, it's open, the political balance between science and church. I could look to go bold and lean just far into that science. What would it do? Well, it would make maybe things like glass a little bit cheaper for me, but shut off other things. So for now, I'm going to swap it back to open. Now that we're set to this open status, I have a quest to fill some territories with glass. Alright then, let me queue up one of these. It's now only going to take me a single turn to get it done. While that's happening, I'll meander out this way and continue to explore. This game prides itself on constant exploration, and I do think that the Tidefall events actually help with that a lot. But for now, it's the moment that we've all been waiting for. Let's finally use this, what's it actually called? Geodissection, to turn a territory into glass. I reckon the core capital territory is the most funny outcome. This one already has some science, so maybe it's less useful, and I haven't attached any others yet. So, sure, let's do it to the capital. Stuff it. Use this ability, smash it down, and bam. There you go. It played out behind the cutscene because I finished the quest at the same time. But what you'll notice is, most of the territory, except for where there are resources or mountains, has turned into this glass. And take a look at what it's done. Stripped back most of the industry, most of the food, most everything, really. And in exchange, it makes these tiles. A whole load of science, and actually quite a lot of dust. I'm now making 170 per turn. That dust may go away over time, though. I think that the eternal sunshine benefit is still playing out here. But the core science that you witness, that will never go away. And this is how we're going to surge the Tahuk science production. Currently, I've just got one lousy city. And, you know, we've boosted it up a fair amount. Let's keep this going, and let's keep glassifying as much as possible. I might queue up some Eternal Sunshine here as well. Let's get both of these things rolling through for maximum dust, maximum science. Ooh, I should add, my science districts are obviously great. Our core one is producing 65 science now, but these city improvements can be very good too. At the moment, maybe not so much. I mean, it's just plus 12, plus 6. This one here, though, emergency dwellings, will allow me to attach an extra territory. So I think I'll get that going sooner rather than later. In fact, let's just buy it. Then we can scroll down here. 200 influence, and I'll be able to attach it, which is just 2 turns. So let's slap it up. Slap it up. Okay. Let's attach it, is what I maybe meant to say. You can see that Suraban now can house 3 territories total. And let's just, I think, instantly turn all of this grass into glass. Bam. It's a beautiful animation too. Unfortunately, it has created a rift, and I can't yet close the rift because I don't have the technology to do so. The rift may spew out horrors and doom wraiths, very powerful armies. For the time being, though, you know, I think we're going to be okay. I think the next focus here has got to be more cities, because more cities equals more science. There's a pretty neat little wonder, huge wonder. Grants 100 science for the first empire to claim it, plus 4 science per scribe. I was just about to say, we'll go up here, and we'll fight this dungeon, we'll clear it out, we'll take this gorgeous looking territory that's probably filled with yield, yes indeed. But how could I resist a science wonder in a science game? The answer, dear viewer, is I can't, so I'm going to have to go over here and take this. Now, it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy take. 240 influence, so I'll need to wait a few turns, but otherwise, shouldn't be too bad. I've got a fairly decent army together here now. And speaking of said army, they've already managed to find some trouble. I mean, I say trouble. Trouble is a strong word. It didn't feel particularly troublesome, really, did it? A quick turn healing up, and they're ready to settle this territory. Maybe find some extra discoveries. This one also has some resources. There's some hydromeal down the bottom here. So let me just tuck myself in. You know what? Right next to the wonder. Bam. Grab a little bit of movement off this too. Nice. Right, so settling this, or placing a camp anyway, will allow me to hook up these resources so I can start earning more money. And maybe using some luxury benefits? I don't know. Plus 10 health on unit? Sure. What else have we got here? Plus 5 defense? Sure. The greatest warriors of all time. Let's go stomp on our neighbors. But actually, I'm just going to bribe them because I'd like to buy a unit from them and carry on exploring. Oh, yes, indeed. Here's our accidental duplicate. There are 2 science fiends in this game, which actually might make for an interesting conclusion. Might be a happy coincidence there. Over here, my population from the glorious event have come through. Now, these cooled populations work a little differently. They tend to interact, as I was talking about earlier, with the religious element, the service of spirit, or the star's light. Right here, it creates one. This one turns them into galvanized coal. Let's do that just for fun. These guys produce a different yield to everyone else, and it changes based on the Tidefall season. Once I galvanize them. For now, I think they're kind of just plebs. We'll keep them around, though. We need the extra dudes. Let's splash some cash. Get even more science districts down. Use a bit of influence to expand out and build these labs in and around ridges, too, because one of our improvements will bolster the amount of science we get. Here we go. Plus 3 for each adjacent ridge. Probably worth queuing those up. Maybe a blast furnace, too. I wonder if I can build an observatory next to their one. Cool. I mean, I'd quite like to actually just take this territory as well. I can't fight that unit because it's related to their quest. Probably the duplicate science boys quest. But that's alright. We'll slap one of these down. We'll turn it into a sacred flame. And then I've got a mobile, well, not a mobile, but I've got an artillery cannon effectively here, ready to shoot anybody should they come close. Okay. This territory is now claimed next to Nidoi, which means that once I have 300 influence, Nidoi can become its own city and attach up to this one. It's very full of units. I can't get rid of these. These are mine. I could probably zap these guys with my tower though, right? They are currently involved in a battle. Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna slay them instead. One day you'll get some use, tower. One day. Not today. But today I can turn Nidoi into a city. Thank you very much. Obviously, this is the city with the wonder that not only gave me a little boost, but it also gives me plus 4 science per scribe. And that curiosity thing. But the per scribe thing matters a lot, because if we can get the city large, then we can get a lot of scientific people living here. Also, a bit of glassification wouldn't hurt. Let's spam this place with it. God, I love that ability so much. I mean, I don't love the creation of rifts. Though, I guess I could zap that one in future. Of course, what I really love is all that. Goodness gracious. I mean, the yields. They're stupidly good. Districts here, by the way, ludicrously cheap. They take 48 turns to build, but I can buy them out pretty easily. And I think I'm making a lot of money thanks to my glass, my eternal sunshine. I could use the service of spirit as well to turn cooled populations into galvanized ones. Let's do that as a callback to what I was talking about earlier. They are currently destitute. We have an ability for that too, though, actually. This one. It will... Wait, is it this one? Hold on. Yes. Sends cooled population of a city to other empires. Right. Basically, we can send them out and have them act like spies in enemy cities. Let's use this capture action here. Nice UI, by the way, to burn down the enemies. Maybe allies, but the enemies tower, so that my one is the only one here. Obviously, we can't have them hanging about. That's just not gonna... That's a recipe for disaster. A recipe for success, though, will be to use this, build a camp in place of the fortress. I was going to say to use this plunder, but no. Let's seize this. So one of the nice things about taking over these districts is that when you take over the... not the district, sorry. When you take over this battle, you get the whole territory for yourself, right? The downside, if you're impatient like me, is you can't skip through it. So you either need to manually control your dudes, which is honestly not a bad thing. If you've played Humankind, you'll feel right at home with the combat system in this game. I'm just kind of a little impatient, so I'm going to skip through it so we can claim the territory. Oh my. And when I say skip through it to claim territory, I mean lose both of my heroes along the way. They do respawn after a certain number of turns. 6 turns, there we go. So it's not the end of the world. Though that was a fairly high price to pay, it's got to be said. Not the cheapest outcome of all time. The good news is that territory is now mine because we've slain we've slain the special district there, which name's still... Why can I not think of this word? Fortress! There we go. And there are plenty more fortresses across the map. Once we unlock this Awakening victory path, we'll be able to see that one of the victories is directly tied to said fortry. Okay, turn 69. Nice. Spending a little bit of cash, and, as promised, attaching this up to our glorious, hopefully soon to be glorious, scientific city. I'm very, very much short on influence. So I need to work on that a little bit, not just science, maybe. Maybe an influence district wouldn't hurt, hey? Let's get one down. And hello, enemy army detect. Where are you? Here you are. Let's use our sacred flame to start zapping this guy down. Not protected by an enemy quest. It only costs, I think, about 90 dust per strike, so I can use it on repeat. A little OP. Over and over and over again, until the enemy is either destroyed or sufficiently weak enough that I could wander in and tidy them up. I chose not to do that. Probably fine. One of the other neat things about playing as the Tahuks is that we get, I believe, an extra council seat, and I think this is just unique to us. Maybe if we have someone who can do science, like this quiet thinker here, Axios the Possessed, we should chuck him in. What has he got? Plus 20% science on Empire without any ongoing wars. Very good. Another slot. My council is honestly kind of weak. Not a lot of truly great stuff here. But I've got a little ragtag group of dudes. There's a bit of extra science. There's a bit of extra dust and influence along the side there too. It's not bad. Not the greatest ever, but not bad. One of the councillors will let you research through into the next era of technology, which could be very good to grab, say, I don't know, what's this do? Minus 20% on all research, right? Pretty good. For now, though, I'll just focus on my core stuff. Plus 5 science per holy Oculum. Yeah. Critical hit chance. Super good units. All science is probably good science. It's also definitely time to complete a deed and get city number 3. Yes. Usually you can be the first to get 3 cities. The AI seems a little slow, frankly, at building them. This'll let me grab this territory, and if there's no resources to improve, which it doesn't look like there is, just attach it straight up there as well. And I would use my glass, but we're currently in a monsoon season. So I'll have to wait a little bit. But don't you worry. This is going to be... there is a resource. This is going to be just as sciencey as the rest. Thankfully, those resources were actually pretty cheap to pump out. Not too shabby at all. Looking at this district a little closer, it's also quite a money-hungry district. If I can place down, like, trading posts like this one here next to these mines, and make a lot of money. And money can get us science by buying things outright. We could do a Tahuk festival, maybe, to exchange some early populations here as well. Buy a little bit of stability. The people are jubilant. They love this place. Look at this, 100%. Why does that matter, you might be wondering? Because the overall empire approval really ought to be at 85. Once it gets to 85, we get a 30% bonus to our science, dust, and influence. So that'll be a target for me. Unfortunately, while this weather is still playing up, I can't use my super towers to strike down this pretty powerful Doom Wraith that's popped out of the ground. What I can do, though, is use my ability to shut that. That'll give me a bit of dust, too, which is nice. And then let's have a look. We've got 1,000 strength. They've got 1,000 as well. It's a really uncomfortably close fight. I don't know if it's one that I even want to take. The thing is, though, I have to. Because at the moment, our city is suffering from corruption. The big downside to having these doomy boys around is that they're quite corrupt. I'm going to lose 2 heroes in the process, but I think it's worthwhile. We need to get rid of that debuff. Then I can focus on healing up these guys and building out my city. Yeah, it had to be done. I think it just had to be. And just as I was complaining about Tidefall, the Tidefall has ended here on turn 86, through into a brand new era. And a whole load of words to come with it. I know it's really disrespectful to not read the lore. This is a deeply lore-rich game. I'll tell you that I'm doing it for your benefit, so that the video isn't 5 hours long. Either way, here we've unlocked our paths to victory: worship, impress, and master. It's probably easier for me to show you these in the victory screen, though, I reckon. So here it is. Alongside the score victory, which happens as the turns happen, or conquest. Obviously, you need to take out your enemies. We also have these conditions in the middle. They're a bit vague, but as far as I can tell, they directly link to this, the Awakening Victory, where you can choose one of 3 paths. One of them over here, worship, relies on having 80 pop, building some monuments in your cities, and researching tech. It's all about growth, in a way, right? Population, food, production, science. The one in the middle here is about making money and winning over people, or buying friends, as it were. And then finally on the right hand side we have Master, which is not quite a military, but definitely an expansion victory. Relies on clearing those fortresses, done 1, and taking territories. The obvious way to play the maximum science game would be to hold off for worship, get to the final era and grab the techs. In my experience though, I feel like the early science even, and definitely early money, can far easily and far more readily get you to an impress victory. This seems like the fastest way to win. Okay, now by turn 87, some of these improvements are starting to do good stuff, right? I mean, I love this gallery, 50 dust. This dome also currently providing plus 50. 5 per lab. Obviously that's going to scale exponentially well for me as I keep building labs and keep adding more improvements. So getting these core ones online, I mean, do not sleep on it, right? It's the fundamental part of our strategy here. Praise the mighty observatory with its super cannon on the top. A measly, oh, actually it's gone up a bit. The price is now 150 dust. But, as I was talking about a little earlier in this video, I can use that to my advantage, weaken the enemy, and then run down here and sweep up the kill. Speaking of sweep up the kill, looks like my neighbor might have done some of the dirty work for me up here too. Grab a quick insta-resolve, cheeky bit of cash. Thank you for protecting my land. That's 1 city, 2 cities now free of their corruption. Oh, there's just rifts everywhere. And honestly, it's kind of my fault because I opened them all up, glassing the place. Well, glass this, buddy. Insta-resolve, insta-success, and a Doom Wraith umbilical cord. Oh. It adds 4 might when the hero has at least 6 resilience, and it in itself gives 2. Huh. That's pretty cool. And as luck would have it, it happens to perfectly work with this guy. We're going to have to take his super hood off, which actually gave him 3 resilience, so it doesn't work with him. Something to work on. Oh my god, these districts, look at this. Everyone I hook up providing an extra 10 dust, 5 science, sometimes even more than that. I mean, these things are just so good. The city is now really starting to take into its own. And I'm ignoring, really for the most part, the other 2, which are also doing, well, this one not so much, but they're also generally doing an okay job. Here at turn 96, we're now up to 1,388 science per turn. Oh, and if you're looking for overpowered science yields here, by the way, like truly overpowered, take a look at this wildlife lookout. Adding 59,150 science. I feel like these are a little broken. Visually, that is. Like, I don't know I'll actually get a one-off boost of that much, because I feel like that would probably end the game. Something funky is going on with the foundations, because my foundations are just so good. But because that is so stupidly high, I feel like I kind of have to queue it up regardless, right? Okay, so I have the money to buy it now, just in case it does happen to unlock everything. Again, I doubt it, but just in case, I'll queue up some technologies, so that it has something to put this monstrous amount of science into. Now, let's see. I mean, it felt underwhelming. I won't lie to you. That feels fairly underwhelming. Just check the science. It in fact did not pump through 50,000, 100,000 some science into my back pocket. Although, new era unlocked. Huh. That must have just been coincidental timing from finishing a technology. Either way, we're now up to 1,500 per turn. Oh my god. What? Endgame? Turn 100? How have I done this? I haven't even finished showing you the mega science yet. In my live stream, I got up to 5,500 science per turn. In this game, I don't know how I've done this. Am I just too scientific? That's it, folks. By their grace and scientific prowess, they've done it. Was this the fastest science victory of all time? No, in fact, it was an economic one. Let's take a look at the graphs. What have we got? Science, stupendously good. Everyone else on about 200, 100, maybe 50 per turn. I'd skyrocketed. Technologies, though, a little closer, right? Maybe they can ride on the sort of train, that's not the saying, of my research agreements, my technology sharing with them. I'm not sure. Dust-wise, I was pretty wealthy. Yep, I'll give me that. Pretty wealthy. I could choose to continue playing, but that's it, folks. World record fastest accidental scientific stroke economic victory in this game. Wow. I believe what's happened here is my foundation is so good, my technology is so advanced, that when I moved through into the next era and then the one after that, I immediately unlocked the resources that I would have got as the map naturally expanded out, right? So I've immediately got so much of this from all of these juicy territories farming out the resource. Secondly, I've managed to pacify quite a few people. Now, 3 out of 3 of these guys, which makes them instantly my allies. And then if I jump into the diplomacy screen, take a look at, let's say, our fellow scientific boy, you'll see we have had a pretty good relationship as well. I suspect what's happened, maybe slightly glitchily, maybe not, is that I've done this. I've done this impress condition. I've got the 6 out of 6 strategic resources, at least at 20, comfortably over 20. And I haven't quite got this yet, but I feel that they were just about to slide over into a positive overall diplomatic standing. What's interesting, though, is I usually need this technology, which my super science could have helped with, but I usually have to get cultural education first. Nonetheless, here you go. A record, personally, anyway. Scientific victory, economic victory in Endless Legend 2. I hope you've enjoyed this gameplay. There's more to come, and of course, more early access development to go for this game as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.